Today is our end of summer platform, and our speakers will be myself and Terri Karp, and our topic is time wasters on the internet, the video edition. I'm a longtime member of the Society, along with my wife, Susan, as most of you know, and I'm also the administrative director of the Society. I also spent over 30 years working in IT, mainly in banking, and almost all of it as a programmer analyst. And I will confess that there were moments at work when I was kind of bored and was surfing the net looking for a way to waste time on the internet. Terri Karp is also a longtime member of the Society and worked in computer and internet technology for many years, including programming mainframe computers in the 1980s, designing and developing multiple software projects for an international corporation, and website development. And in fact, she developed and supports our website. Terri has also managed multi-million-dollar projects and led training in the use of the software systems that she created. Terri, please take it away.
Okay. Again, I'm Terri Karp. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. We began putting on summer platforms about 15 years ago. We had intended these to be less formal and somewhat more lighthearted than our usual very serious platform topics that we hold from September to June.
And a few years ago, we had a platform called Time Wasters on the Internet that was pretty well received. So we thought we'd reprise the event, but with a video edition for you now.
To start us off, we'll provide some foundational classics.
We thought we'd start with some internet history, and this is actually the world's first video ever uploaded to YouTube in 2005. It's only 19 seconds long, and it's rather boring, perhaps just as boring as you might expect. But there's something that's very interesting beside the fact that it's the first. The person you see is Jawed Karim, who is actually a co-founder of YouTube. YouTube was founded by three people: Steve Chen, Chad Hurley, and Jawed Karim. It was bought by Google the following year, at which time Karim got 137,000 shares of Google, worth about $64 million at the time. And if he held on to them, they'd be worth around 400 million today. You know what? Let's see. I'm sorry.
All right, so here we are, one of the elephants. Cool thing about these guys is that they have really, really long fronts. And
that's about it, right?
That's about it, right? That's enough of that.
That's enough of that.
Right.
Moving on. I was never a big fan of Charlie Bit My Finger, if you're familiar with it, but it's one of the most famous YouTube videos ever made. It was recently, as a matter of fact, sold as an NFT, or non-fungible token, and was going to be taken off YouTube. Relax, it won't be, but I wanted to make absolutely sure that you didn't miss this bit of YouTube history. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but no, the kid never says Charlie bit my finger, although that's what the video is commonly called. Kind of like Play It Again, Sam. This has been viewed almost 1 billion times.
Ah! Ooh! Ouch! Ow!
Okay, Charlie, we know what's coming after that. It's kind of cute. 1 billion times seems like a lot, right? But that's nothing compared to this little bit of fluff that's been viewed 9 billion times. 9 billion. It's the most viewed video on YouTube, so I figured we had to watch it. You may soon hear why it's so popular, but you may not thank me. It is the most persistent earworm you have ever heard. Here goes. Okay. I didn't lose anybody yet, right? So this is this is almost unwatchable for me, but the audio is even worse. So this one I muted. but it is an interesting phenomenon. This video is in the billion views club. It's the 8th most watched video and the 5th most liked video on YouTube, as well as the 19th most disliked. That's interesting. It pokes fun at the style of the Gangnam District, a flashy area in Seoul, where known for its affluence, high rents, high expectations, and a focus on the high status lifestyle. This is satire, folks. 21st century international style. Interestingly, as this video became a phenomenon, the artist's father, who heads a South Korean semiconductor firm, completely separate from this, his firm's stock value rose 800%, and it was attributed to his son's ridiculously silly video here. You might want to take a look on your own and see how much of that you can stand. On Facebook, Facebook also has a watch feature where weird and interesting stuff makes the time just drift away. So let me make all the standard denouncements of Mark Zuckerberg, etc. However, being involved in communications for your society, I actually want our people to participate in social media. Talk us up. Consider by boycotting Facebook outside an organized effort, it's like quitting your job without a union. It does no good for anyone, but harms you. That's assuming you think that Facebook is overall a good thing. It does have oddly satisfying videos. Here's one that never gets old for me. I'm not going to actually play it. Go to facebook.com/watch and search for Talking Dog Bacon. Talking Dog Bacon. You will be amused. While you're there, don't forget to drop in our public Facebook group and find out what's going on. Leave us a nice message. Tell everybody who you are. And members can also visit our private group. If you are a member and you're not part of the group, send an email to David at admin@ethicalfocus. We have fun, lively exchanges. Getting back to the source, YouTube, again, our society has a YouTube channel. You'll find past platforms, how-tos, or folk singers, and goodies like this. So hang on, you're going to recognize some people here that you might know. So here's just little children, but coming into view is Bee Kapoyan, our own bee. And soon you'll see Dean Strickholm here and Laura Mausner.
Starting back in time, discussing the questions asked by primitive peoples, but some of which.
If you watch more, you'll see Howard Radist and more. And now I'll hand off to David.
Thank you.
I'll stop sharing.
Yep.
Should I stop sharing? Okay.
Right, thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. By the way, I want to mention that talking dog bacon is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I honestly say that. Now, Terry just showed you the Society's YouTube channel, and we're going to show you some other YouTube channels. So I wanted to just tell you a little bit about where YouTube channels came from. This is Smosh, S-M-O-S-H, and it's one of the first 9 YouTube channels. It's a comedy channel that I would describe as being in the spirit of Monty Python, and it was founded by Ian Hecox and Anthony Padilla while they were teenagers working at Chuck E. Cheese. In Padilla's words, we had no one to hang out with, and we just decided to joke around in my room and record ourselves on the webcam that my dad had let me borrow, lip syncing the Power Rangers theme song that I had downloaded that day. We died laughing and thought that for some reason it was worthy of putting on the internet. So they did, and it got so many views that YouTube approached them and asked them if they would like to set up a YouTube channel, create more content, and share the advertising revenue. They did this with Smosh and 8 others, and that's how YouTube channels began. Now I'd like to play you this little video, about 20 seconds of it, that just explains what Smosh is.
If you want a piece of that princess ass, it's gonna cost you.
I'll pay you in gold coins. All I got to do is to punch this brick.
Sir, I am unable to see with all these lenses.
Okay, that's an acquired taste, and it's not my acquired taste, but a lot of people do like it. Now, YouTube channels. So, you can create a YouTube channel of your own, and actually anyone can create their own YouTube channel. And I have one, and it is fun to noodle around looking on the web for people's YouTube channels, although they're not always easy to find. And that leads me to another way to waste time on the internet. So let me just show you what happens if you look up David Bland YouTube channel. And for years, I used to be able to do this, and it would bring me right to my YouTube channel. And when I was preparing this presentation, I did that again, expecting to find mine. I saw this come up and I clicked on it. And who is that? That's not me. Where did he come from? So I go back down and I see, oh, well, what about this one? Oh, same guy, forget that. Let's go down some more. What about this? Another David Bland. I have to tell you, there are not many Blands in this world. I almost never run into someone named Bland, let alone David Bland. So I scroll down some more. How about this guy? Another David Bland, this one, Dave Bland. I'll try one more. Another David Bland. So this really upset me, but there's nothing I can do about it. And actually, to be honest, I'm not sure how I would find my YouTube channel through Google, but I will put a link to it in the chat window later. This is my YouTube channel. And as you can see, I've posted a lot of videos from concerts that Susan and I have gone to. We really like this type of music that has come to be known as hot jazz. There's been a resurgence of it, and basically hot jazz takes tunes from the first half of the 20th century and reimagines it in a more contemporary style. And I'm going to show you just 2 examples of that, because of course, I think music videos are among the things that people look at most on the internet. So the first I want to show you is the Hot Sardines, and they're a local group. Susan and I have seen them in concert. In fact, I have a video of them on my YouTube channel. I'll just play 20 seconds of a song that I think most of you will recognize.
Of all the boys I've known, and I've known some, first met you was lonesome. Came inside of my heart, grew like the world was new to me. You're swell, I'll admit you deserve expressions that fit you. Rack my brain hoping to explain things you do to me. By mere Mr. Shame, please let me explain. By mere Mr. Shame means that you're grand. Of all
Okay, another group that I really like is Postmodern Jukebox, and they sort of do the reverse of what I just described. Instead of taking old tunes and playing them in a contemporary style, they take contemporary songs and play them in a style of the past, usually a kind of jazz style. And I'm going to show you 30 seconds of one of their videos, which also features Ariana Savalas, who I will tell you is Telly Savalas's youngest daughter, and Sarah Reich, a tap dancer who went to my high school, although she went to my high school about 35 years after I did. So I'll play about 30 seconds of this. Now, I'll tell you, I spent enormous amounts of time when I discovered postmodern jukebox. I can't tell you how much time I spent watching that stuff. But here's something completely different. Like you, I spent the last 18 months obsessing about the SARS-CoV-2 virus and COVID-19. And I learned that there's a laboratory at the University of Utah that specializes in animations of biological processes. And they have an astounding video which illustrates how the SARS-CoV-2 virus infects human cells. It's 90 seconds long. I'm going to play about 30 seconds of it for you. And remember, this is designed for scientists to look at. This is not really a commercial animation. It's really designed for scientists to look at so that they can visualize the process. So I'm going to go into their projects. They have many different projects on here. Here's the SARS-CoV-2 life cycle, and we'll watch the animation. I'm going to start it, and then I'm going to jump to about 22 seconds in, just because of limitations of time. Okay, here we go.
Inhaling airborne viral particles. These viruses can then travel into the airways, where they may encounter cells of the respiratory epithelium in the trachea and lungs. The spike protein on SARS-CoV-2 recognizes a specific protein called ACE2, which is shown here in purple on the cell surface. The spike protein, which is normally very dynamic and able to undergo opening, closing, and bending movements, is locked into an open position.
Okay, this is 90 seconds long, and I'll put the link to this in the chat window. I don't know about you, but I find that video actually creepy, and it gets creepier later on. The part where they illustrate how it actually takes over the cell reminds me of the movie Aliens. Now, one of my favorite things to look up on the internet are industrial films, and especially his old historical videos. I'm sorry, I should have written old historical industrial films. And these things are really a treasure trove of snapshots into another time. And I'm going to play a little bit of two of them. The first one is an American Airlines video from 1933. And, you know, in 1933, people weren't sure that aircraft were safe to fly in. So they tried to convince people that it was not only safe, but that it was, this is a modern term, that it was sort of hip to fly, and that people who had places to go and people to see would want to do it via airlines. So I'm going to play about 30 seconds of this video.
Swift and safe as birds in flight, the giant planes of American Airways are setting the new pace of man's progress. From the beginning of time, man has been the master of his own journey. He chooses the road by which he goes. He steps ahead or he steps aside. Here's the man who steps ahead, the kind of man who gets things done, who knows where he's going and how to get there. The American Airways.
Now, I really love that, and I love it for a couple of reasons. One is I like aviation. But another reason is you could never write a narration like that today. It just would not work. And it really captures a time and a place that no longer exists. And it is one of the best ways to drop yourself into another historical time period. So, and these historical industrial videos are all like that. Now, a contemporary historical video is this from Boston Dynamics. I suspect a number of you have seen this already, but in case not, here we go. Whoops.
Down.
Okay, that I think is a really knockout, and they have a lot of videos of what their robots can do on their website. So I'll put the link to that in the chat window a little bit later also. Okay, Terry, back to you.
Okay. Let's see, I'll share. This will stop the other sharing.
Oh,
Yes.
right. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
That's okay. That's good. Whoopsie. Okay. Well, maybe David's idea of time wasting, jazz, and science is a little different than mine. But let me say, I enjoy serious stuff too, but is it really wasting time? I mean, that's a fundamental question, right? Let's see what channels I subscribe to. Now, that's different from your channel. These are the channels that I subscribe to. And I confess, I tidied it up for you guys, but only a little bit. I just picked up the place a tiny bit. And you can see I do watch a fair bit of late night comics, but also philosophy, Spanish, science, coding. You could tell a lot about a person from their channel. So are you guys seeing my screen, David?
Yes.
Okay. A helpful tip there, you might want to take a moment and make sure your channel and the channels that you subscribe to publicly represent you well. So David found lots of David Blands. If your name is slightly unusual, your channel might come up right away when folks are looking for you. Okay, and as long as we're taking a serious moment here, we can talk about all of the honest to goodness full courses, serious courses that you can take online. Here's one on theater. I thought this might appeal to some of our folks here. The beginning of the playlist, which you don't see, it's above here. I started video number 4, but the beginning includes Aristophanes through Shakespeare to, well, you see here Beckett to Broadway in the later videos. There's an ocean of wonderful info available. Anyone can take full courses from the most prestigious universities in the world, taught by their most outstanding professors, all or mostly for free. I'm currently a subscriber to Wondrum. It's very, very modest cost. It was formerly the Great Courses. I enjoy them. I've scooped up terrific courses, great courses on linguistics, art, economics. Well worth anyone's time, really. I don't really consider all that wasting time. So with some truth in advertising, considering the title of our program, let's start some real time wasting, like extreme ironing, which is, hang on a minute, extreme ironing, which is the latest danger sport that combines the thrills of an extreme outdoor activity with the satisfaction of a well-pressed shirt. So here we see someone ironing while skydiving. There are others, of course, people ironing while deep sea diving, skiing, mountain climbing. Greg Gordon, you might want to pay attention here, up your game a little bit. Ironing while zooming down a highway on a motorcycle. Now, you might ask why, but I see this as a sublime calling of humanity. If the pursuit is useful, then it's craft or engineering, not art. These videos show humanity obsessed with something that's difficult while being utterly useless. Pointless, in fact, just like so much of YouTube and life. And as long as we're talking about extremes, it's fascinating the extremes that ordinary people will go through to amuse us and amaze us. This is pretty old video. What you'll see are sheep. These are real sheep with LED lights on their backs being herded by sheepdogs. Of course, because of course they are. Well, I encourage you to watch the full the full video. It's well worth it. So now we have a bunch of submissions that we can pour over, because earlier we had, about a week ago, David sent out a weekly announcement saying, send us your favorite waste of time videos online. And some of you did step up. And let's see whose taste runs from the silly to the sublime. So we have Janet, who says, I play words with friends online with people I don't know for more hours than I care to admit. It's like Scrabble, but on my iPhone. Stimulating and fun. Also, I win a lot. I bet you do, Janet. It's not exactly a video, but if Janet Glass is submitting it, we're going with it. I actually, this is another true confession, I actually played that for a while. And especially considering this is the Ethical Culture Society, I played it with my sister, and I found myself a bit challenged not to cheat, because, you know, naturally I wouldn't actually look up words in the dictionary. That would be real cheating. But, you know, if I saw a word in the newspaper that day and I happened to remember it, I just like find that page in the newspaper. And I told my sister, look, I can't do this. This is too hard for me. So I stopped playing. I'm weak, and I know. So Amy submitted a couple of regular sites. The first one is the old workhorse, the Democratic Underground, which is great. And but I want you to know that this website does, like many sites, it has a video section. And these mostly, this section of Democratic Underground links mostly to YouTube's, but so you can take in your liberal activism while snacking and hearing what the State Department spokesperson has to say. Amy also submitted commondreams.org, which of course we'll know and love. That this really, although it's looks like the site is a little bit more modern, this really doesn't have a video section at all, but I encourage everybody to go to it. Here's another site that's not exactly a video. Oops, hang on a minute. Oh, I have to go like this. Hang on a minute. Not exactly a video, but this is so worthwhile. I can't even tell you. So let's see. Let's see what that, you'll very quickly go see what's going on. Let's see what they're playing in France in the 1960s. Hello? That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. How about Russia in the 1910? Not unexpected. Not unexpected. You get the idea. That is going to be very fun. So thanks, Dan. I'm going to be bookmarking that baby. Now, Rachel submitted a couple of sites. The first one is homestarrunner.com tunes. Again, this is a bit of an acquired taste, but let's see what's up. Virus. So it's kind of like, think of it like a public service announcement. Keep your malware, virus control software up to date.
Why 76p? All you ate, what is this? Did the quadratic formula explode?
Otherwise, you'll be like that guy. We don't want that. And she also submitted this very close to perfect video. Absolutely perfect. I'll play a bit of this.
This morning I got up and got ready quickly because I had to get a lot of stuff done. I sat down at my desk to start getting my stuff done and I spilled my coffee, so I got a sponge to clean it up, and I figured I'd take an extra minute to clean the whole desk because a clean desk would help me get my stuff done. When I was finished, I realized I hadn't eaten anything and I didn't want to be hungry. Yep.
Again, I encourage you to watch the whole thing because it's fun and silly. Rachel also submitted this UBU web, which for all your avant-garde needs, you can click on film and video here and see your favorite French philosopher smoking cigarettes and telling you why life is meaningless. And it is fun. It is fun to look at that certain bit of history and find out what, when you're in that certain mood. Although I must say that I prefer Henri the cat when I'm in this certain kind of mood.
J'habitais en vie de luxe. Mes concierges m'emmènent. Mas je me sens vide. Mon œil filtré quotidien pur. Je ronronne rarement. Din dit là-bas, ça commençait à goûter exactement à ma poisson blanc de montant dans de luxe dans la vie.
All right. Thank you, Henri. We hear you. Last video that Rachel suggested. Well, she suggested this whole channel, CPG Gray, and this is some darn interesting stuff. So
Who owns the Statue of Liberty, New York or New Jersey? It should be straightforward, but the island upon which the statue stands, Liberty Island, has been part of a long fight between the states over their river border and the islands between them, with rounds in the 90s, the 80s, the 30s, the 1830s.
That's good stuff. I mean, I just want to know that kind of thing, right? You just want to know. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now and come back. And I hope you folks enjoyed our presentation. David, do you have anything else to say?
I do, yeah. Since we're running a little early, I think I'm going to share a couple of other items. Let me just bring this back up. So, you know, one of the things that I only recently discovered were museum videos. A lot of museums have videos. Excuse me. Some are, excuse me, some are historical videos that were taken commercially, and they're fantastic. But some of them also are backstage, not backstage, you know, inside looks at the operation of the museum. And recently, Lucy Lettuce posted on Facebook something about Charles Dickens and a Facebook page called Dickens London. And Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol is one of my favorite books. So this, and I knew that the Morgan Library owned the manuscript of that. So I decided I'd look it up on the web, and I found this, what was to me extremely interesting little video of theirs. So this is a video on how the manuscript was preserved. I know it's going to bore most people. I find it really interesting. I'm going to just play 30 seconds of it.
My name is Reba Snyder. I am a paper conservator at the Morgan Library and Museum. What you're looking at is the bound volume that contains the manuscript for Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, which has held this manuscript for over 100 years. When the manuscript for Christmas Carol was brought to the Conservation Lab, what we saw was that each page had been silked. And on the right-hand side, on the back of the page, you can see this very, very fine fabric laid across the surface.
Okay, so I find that stuff really interesting, and I realized that all the museums have this stuff available. Now, I also really like aviation, and although I once even thought about getting my license, but I decided it was too expensive a hobby. But I can satisfy my interest on the internet, and one of my favorite sites is this thing called Mentor Pilot. Excuse me. So this guy is an airline pilot for a European budget airline. And he has all these videos on all things about commercial aviation. So for example, I don't know if you have noticed this, but if you look at a Boeing 737, the engine is flat on the bottom. Now I've wondered about that for years, and by gosh, he's got a video to explain it. And also he flies Boeing 737s. And I had also noticed that there are no doors over the landing gears on a 737. And I always wondered about that. And he's got a video on that. So this has really been one of my favorite sites. He's got lots and lots of videos, and he's actually selling a more professional training video set. But once you skip over his little commercial, you get all the free stuff, and it's very interesting. Now, I also, since I love aviation, I love strange looking airplanes, and there's a lot of videos about it, okay, which are great. I'm just going to show you some images. So these are all real airplanes that have been, I'm not sure that this is fake. This one's fake, but this one's real. This is real. And this one, this is called the Pregnant Guppy. And I saw that airplane when I was a boy. I was at an air show with my parents, and they had this thing. And I saw it. I've never forgotten it. It's used by NASA to transport rocket engines. And it's still in existence. And in fact, they've since made bigger ones with jets, out of jet planes, but they took a commercial airliner and expanded it to do this. So I just wanted to add those couple of things. Favorites of mine, maybe you'll find them favorites too. Terry, do you have anything more?
No, maybe we can suggest that people can just describe what they like.
Yeah. And I'll mention Pam Berglund in the chat window mentions that she can spend hours playing Wordsy. Was that the one that Janet gave us, or is that a different one? I'm not sure.
That's a different one.
No, it's actually a different one. It's a combination of Yahtzee and Scrabble. And the object of the game is to get as many points as you can, and you're given 5 different levels. So you look for you find a 3-word word, a 4-word, 5-word, 6-word, and a 7-word. 7-word is usually the hardest to fill. And you play against other players, and I'll post it in our website for you.
Okay, thanks. Does anyone have any? Lucy, go ahead.
Hi, I wanted to say that I am addicted to Words with Friends. It really is an addiction. I sit down and I say, okay, I'm going to play for an hour. And then I look at the clock and so much time has passed by. And I've actually made remote friendships through Words with Friends. And they're people that I feel close to. I have a close friend in Texas, for example. We'll never meet, but we chat online all the time and know a little bit about each other's lives. I do personally know some people I play with, family members and my boyfriend. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, really anything that's your passion, you can find. I'm a Francophile. I love Paris particularly. And so I do a Paris site on Facebook. I'm from Long Island, so I do a Long Island Memories site. So the more creative you are, the more fun things you can find. That's all.
There's a lot of historic videos of Paris and probably other French cities from the late 19th century and many of them the early 20th century. Actually, that's true of most big cities. Greg, go ahead.
Lucy, I wanted to share that I had a Word with Friends addiction for a while, and it became overwhelming. So I've taken a pause. But if I come back, then we'll connect on that.
Yes, we should connect.
I think my ego got bruised when I would lose, and I just got mad at myself. I had to take a break. One of the things I had to do for work a few years ago, I had an event to go to that was a black tie event. I needed to wear a bow tie. And, my dad was around, but he was in New Jersey and I was in New York City. So I figured, all right, well, I'm going to an office. There's gonna be enough people there who have dressed, their significant others or themselves in a bow tie. Somebody will teach me how to tie a bow tie, and no one knew what to do. So it's 5 o'clock. I'm leaving at 5:30 for this event. I have a bow tie. I don't know what to do. So I went to YouTube, and the first video could not make heads or tails out of it, but I went through maybe 10 to 12 videos until finally I was able to tie a bow tie, and then just sort of, use that as the analogy for most things. And if you're cooking something or you're trying to repair something, someone somewhere has done it. It's rare that you're the first person doing it. So YouTube seems to be a really effective vehicle for just that learning part.
That is so true. Sorry,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say that is so true. That's all. Yeah.
And then I did put in the comment section that as most of you know, I'm a competitive athlete, and I've done the Ironman triathlon a few times. And I don't think I'll ever do that distance again. It's a big amount of time to dedicate, and I'd rather spend that time with my little guy. But people would say, so why are you doing all this? How far do you have to go? How many hours a week are you training? What's wrong with you? And somebody came up with this really cute animated, it's not a very good animation. It's meant to be very bland, but it's two people talking about, the Ironman and why somebody can't do something social because they have to get up at, an ungodly hour and do all kinds of crazy training. I could share my screen and show it now for 30 seconds if anybody wanted to, or I could just send the link.
Yeah, just send the link.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Put the link in the chat, and we'll
do.
show.
Yeah. Sure.
And
but Greg, have you ironed while doing these sports?
Well,
That's
no,
the tough
but I
question,
have
really.
fantasized about, I've gone skydiving a couple of times, and and I'm a pretty accomplished snowboarder, and I have fantasized about doing both, sky surfing. But I think being a dad sort of changed my risk threshold for things like that.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mary,
I'll say,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll say that you reminded me about the bow tie thing. I recently had cataract surgery, and I said, I bet there are YouTube videos about this. So I went on YouTube, and sure enough, there are many videos of surgeons performing actual surgery. And I thought about it for a few minutes. Should I actually watch these? But once you know it's there, you kind of have to. And after watching, like the first one I watched, I was like, ew, that's gross, that's disgusting. By like the third or fourth, I was like, hey, you missed a spot. Hang on a minute. You become an instant expert.
Oh, there are so many videos of surgeries. I actually spent a lot of time looking at them at various points. I read a biography of a neurosurgeon, British neurosurgeon, Henry, I forget his last name. Anyway, so of course, I thought, as you did, Terry, I'll bet there's lots of videos of neurosurgery on YouTube, and there are. And it's stunning, as long as it's not me on the table. As long as it's not me with a brain tumor. It's really interesting to watch.
That's just really the amazing thing. And it's not specific to YouTube. It's really anything. When I wanted to do preparation for a race course I've not seen before, someone has done a video of it. But even beyond that, beyond the realms of videos and YouTube, the other day I was at my mom's house, and one of the trays to her refrigerator door broke. And so she's frantic about finding the manual and going and finding the part and trying to figure it out. And I said, there's no need. And I went to the inside of her refrigerator. I took a picture of the QR code. It immediately popped up on my phone and went to some entity that has all kinds of parts for Samsung refrigerators. And within about 2.5 minutes, the part was ordered and on its way. It's amazing. I mean, I shouldn't be that surprised by that technology. I grew up in this age of it, but I'm still amazed at how quick and easy this stuff can be.
I want to mention that Mary Matsui put in the chat window allaboutbirds.org. I know she's an avid birder. And Rachel put in the chat window a YouTube video about a channel about linguistics and languages. That's interesting. I often go, when I read in a book a foreign word that I don't know how to pronounce, I'll usually go to Google and say, how do I pronounce this? And they will give me a little audio of how to pronounce it. It's really amazing. Lucy, did you have your hand up again?
Yeah. Am I muted or no? I'm on. I just wanted to say that Greg's bow tie reminded me that I like wearing scarves as an accessory to outfits, and I have no talent for it. And a few people have tried to teach me how to do it, personally teach me, and I, no matter what I learn, I forget it. And so I found some YouTube videos, like 5 most popular ways to tie a scarf. And still, I admit I forget all the time. So every single time you see me in a scarf, you will know that I had to watch a video that morning to do my scarf. But very practical application for it. You can learn hairdos, you can learn anything.
It's really true. I know. And many of my do-it-yourselfer friends do learn all of their home repairs stuff on YouTube. I'm a sort of baby on it. And what little I can do, I always go to YouTube first and watch 5 videos on it to make sure I am not going to destroy something.
Hey, I can share the screen of I just picked one. Now a couple of people are putting stuff in to the chat box, and I picked Rachel's first. Do you guys want to see this native language? How native languages are, how old languages sound? Looks pretty cute. I mean, it looks interesting, you know. So here's you can see the list, right? And here's the playlists. You can see those. And I just clicked through to one. This is what Latins sound like.
Well,
After
it
3 years
makes
of
sense
Latin.
if short E wasn't only shorter than long E, but it also Latin words and bad accents. And they make it look like v's were was at the time, something we'd already be suspicious of from poetry and word pairs. So yes, good Latin was spreading, but back home...
Oh, interesting stuff, yeah. Anyway.
Thanks. Rachel, is that Rachel Herman?
Yeah, I think that was
okay. Thanks. Great. I thought it was you. Yeah. I see you also have another one in there on fun science experiment videos. That
like he does like things like sets up a squirrel like thing where like squirrels have to go in his backyard because he saw a lot of squirrels. So it's kind of like an adventure course for the squirrels to get nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, I just watched that video. This guy is incredible. He's an engineer, and he put together this amazing obstacle course that was humane for these squirrels to get to the nuts. And he even did a sample of 8 or 9 different types of nuts to see which ones they liked the most. It turns out walnuts was the one that they went to the most. So it's highly recommend to everybody to go see these squirrel videos. They are amazing.
Okay, I'm going to share this one. Yeah, I have seen this.
This is the one.
That didn't exactly go as planned, so Rick decides to regroup. Speaking of which, that's Rick.
He's really quite amazing. Okay.
Who, Rick or the scientist?
Yeah, the scientist. I have seen that. It's a lot of fun.
He named all the squirrels. He knows their personalities, and it's all very humane. And it just shows, at least it hit home for me. My dad had his fits with the squirrels getting to the bird feeder, and he tried to solve this stuff. And this guy took that on turbocharge and used engineering skills to solve it. It's really quite amazing.
He formerly worked for NASA before he decided to not work for NASA, I guess, and decided to do all these videos. He also has other ones like where he's trying to help capture people who steal packages. So he made a box where if you are a package stealer and you open up the box, it will spray skunk spray on you and like have this like noise that like kind of like from Home Alone, and it has a video, so it watches you. So then he I guess it's something that he'd been doing for like over 6 months, and so now he's working with like law enforcement and stuff like that to, because it's like
did he do the glitter blast too?
Yeah, the glitter bomb.
And you get
Yep,
sprayed with glitter you can't get off.
Yep, the glitter bomb. It's incorporated in his in this thing.
I aspire to one day have a goat, some
goat?
home in the valley or in a forest or somewhere, and have a goat, and to somehow create goat videos that will be monetized. It's a dream, but we'll see what happens.
Nah.
Take a goat onto a kayak, hang out with a goat in the laundry room. I don't know if those things will make any money.
There's some great videos of goats in trees. And goats climbing up these impossible mountain faces, sheer cliffs. They go up them.
Can you find one, Ken?
No, I don't have any handy. You'll all have to go and Google it yourself.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have the goods, you know. Show the
Okay.
video.
Anyone else? No. Okay. Pam Berglund says check out the Diego videos. I'm not sure what that means. I guess you Google Diego videos. And maybe
It's a cartoon character whose name is Diego. And it's a comical series because he tackles different situations, personal, you know, and it's really cute. I'll try to send one of those too as well.
Okay, thanks. Okay, well, I'd like to thank the speakers. I'd like to thank myself and Terri Karp for putting this together. With that, I thank you all for coming. This platform is over, but we'll stay logged in, and you're welcome to unmute yourself and we can chat for a while. Thank you all for coming. To learn more about us, visit our website, ethicalfocus.org, or email us at admin@ethicalfocus.org, and we'll get back to you. To make a donation, go to ethicalfocus.org/donate. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and you can watch many of our past programs on our YouTube channel.